Alright, so in today's video, I'm going to show you guys how to modify your exhaust for free and in a non-permanent way to make your car louder. Now, I'm feeling a little under the weather today, so if that shows, I'm sorry. But I really want to make a video because it's beautiful out. It's so nice. So nice, and my car is filthy. But it's really simple, especially on my car. It's completely free. On some other cars, which may not have the springs that I'll show you in a minute, it will cost like $2, maybe $1 to get something to shove in there to be a spacer of some sort. And you'll see in a minute. Essentially what we're doing is we're making a small exhaust leak in the axle back portion. On most cars you want to make sure that it is past the cabin so it doesn't leak into the cabin and eventually give you carbon monoxide poisoning inside your car while you're driving. So make sure it's in a safe spot, make sure it's past the cabin itself. On my car, it's literally like right under the trunk area roughly, where the axle back portion disconnects, so that makes it very easy. And it's not as damaging to do to the car or to me inside the car. So first what you're going to start with is obviously get the car up in the air. It doesn't necessarily need to be on jacks. You can have it on what I have is Rhino ramps. It just kind of makes it a lot easier, especially since my car's low, stock, and I'm going to make it lower soon. So it's good to have some extra workspace. So now under the car, I'm looking directly at it, and you can see that my exhaust has bolts and springs. So essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to detach the exhaust, take out the bolts and springs. I'm going to place the springs in between the two sections of the exhaust. This will allow it to leak out before it gets to the axle back portion and allow some more sound, but it's not so that it's completely obnoxious while I'm driving. It's just a little louder. It's not insane. On your car, obviously, this would be different. Any other car could be different. Just in my experience, I'm going to show you guys how it changes, what it's like for me. So let's get started. Of course, with the breaker bar, this is going to be super easy. It's amazing how much a breaker bar does. And basically what you want to do, is you want to make sure that you get both sides equally. Because if you do all one side, then it's going to be a bitch to get apart. So you really have to go back and forth between sides. And I only have this one bit that fits both of these, so. But once I break this one, you should be good. Of course, this one's the hard one. Oh, fuck. Right ramp. Alright, so let's get out so I can explain this. Ow. Okay, so essentially what we're doing is when it's attached to the exhaust itself, it pushes against the exhaust and holds it clamps. What we're going to do is we're going to do the opposite. We're going to put this in between the two sections of the exhaust. So let my hands be the sections of the exhaust. So put it in between them to hold it open. And then we're going to put the bolt to secure it together, but it's going to be going through the piece of the exhaust, like that. It'll keep the pieces separate, rather than the way it was before, where they were held together. That's the hard part, holding it separate. Alright, once you put the springs in, you just put the bolts in as normal. And tighten it as much as you can. And make sure to put your bolts in by hand first to make sure you do not thread them incorrectly, because if you were to put them in directly with this bar, the torque can de-thread them and ruin your bolts. So you want to make sure you put them in by hand first. And at the end of it all, it should look like this. You want this gap in here so the air can come out with the sound while it's still also coming out your regular exhaust too. Now, I wouldn't say this is a permanent fix. To make your car louder, I would suggest getting an exhaust or getting, like, say, the resonator like I have here. I'm going to get that removed and see how it sounds after. But this is definitely not permanent because it can be dangerous. And illegal. It is here, I think. I'm not 100% sure. Okay, so now that we're done, I'm just going to go start up the car, see how it sounds, which probably is going to sound awesome than before. Sounds so much better. I definitely give that a thumbs up. Alright, so I'm gonna go through a shorter loop than I did last time because unfortunately I wasn't filming the first time. My dumb ass took a picture accidentally. So I'm just gonna go slow by my grandfather's house. It's kind of weird though when you get on it, it gets quiet again, probably because the force of the exhaust just starts shooting through the regular exhaust rather than falling out of the exhaust leak, which is kind of good for cop attention, but in everyday use it's awkward. Ooh, I heard a backfire. I let off the gas a bit. It was very faint, but it's there. That sounds so good. Because it's not as quiet as a Prius either as it was before, so it definitely helps. So like I said, I can't stress this enough. It is only a temporary solution. You do not want to permanently do that as it does leak exhaust out underneath the car, which can still get in the cabin, even though where it's placed is past the cabin and my car can still leak inside. So that's something you want to be careful of. And if your car does not have springs on its exhaust, essentially what you do is you take out the bolts and instead you'd place these inside. You could, depending on your exhaust, my car has a huge lip in between the pieces, so I needed a lot. I would have needed 8 on each side, which is ridiculous. So I essentially need this much. Okay, there's 7 here, but that's good enough. So what you could do on most cars, you only actually probably need 4, and 2 on each side will give you enough gaps. You can hear that. My car's just special, and it came with the spring, so it was basically free. But on most cars, you can just use washers. Just find the right one for your bolt size, and it'll give you the nice spacing you need to get the sound out of your car. I've seen people do it to 350Zs and a whole bunch of other cars, and it works really well. And it's probably better than my solution, because my solution does leave a big gap for a lot of exhaust to get out. So it's probably not the safest thing, but that's why it's temporary. Until I get my own exhaust, that's probably what it's going to be. And I might not even keep it open for very long, depending on what attention I get from it. But yeah, it's a simple thing to do. It's free. And it's honestly a fun thing to do in the afternoon. It took me like 20 minutes maybe. So, yeah. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please like down below. Subscribe also down below. Leave a little comment down there too. Peace out and be legendary.
Talking bands, I got it. Benjamins in my pocket. I traded my truth for some Robbins, and he's playing Batman. Freddy's gonna rob him. Yeah. I got the Glock in my robbery. 17 shots, no 38. Yeah, I got the Glock in my robbery. 17 shots, no 38. Yeah, she